Day 8, I'm just gonna fix this a little bit. Day 8 of 21 days of Reiki. So today I am feeling inspired. I'm just gonna clean this also. I'm a mess. Oh my goodness. Okay. Today I am feeling inspired to share with you a little bit of my Reiki story. Um, yeah, it's just kind of what organically came to me today, and I'm just really excited to be here. So I'm going to tell you about the first time that I ever received Reiki and what it inspired in me, what it felt like, what happened, all that kind of good stuff. So I'll probably tell my story in parts. Um, excuse me. There are many different facets and, many different moments along the journey that are worth mentioning and worth talking about. But tonight I'm just going to tell you about that very first night. So, I did my first yoga teacher training in 2018, and that was my first introduction really to, the kind of alternative healing spiritual world. I started practicing yoga like very on and off and trying meditation and things like this in 2010. But nothing really stuck for me. And it was actually that teacher training that really helped me develop a daily practice and a deeper connection to holistic healing, energy medicine, all of these kinds of different things. So I was, I had just done my teacher trainings, and my teacher, my yoga mentor, posted on her Instagram story about this event that one of her former students was having. So it was like a new or full moon circle. I don't exactly remember, at this space in Venice that you can rent out for various events. I was living in, Santa Monica at the time, so it was like right in my hood. And it was a yin yoga, Reiki, sisterhood circle event. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, I want to go to that. And at that point, I had heard of Reiki. I knew kind of what it was, but I had never received it. I had never had a personal experience with it. And I certainly hadn't started training or anything like that. So, I went to this event mostly for the yin yoga and for the journaling and the moon stuff and the sisterhood, but I was like, I'll check this Reiki thing out. So I went to the Love Dome. I pulled up, and as soon as I walked in the room, I could feel the energy starting to work me. And the practitioner was very sweet, and, up front, she was like, I've been working the room. There's, Reiki placed all over the room. You may start to feel the flow of the energy just by walking in here. And I was like, yes, I definitely do. Um, and so I, sat there in circle, and we did beautiful rituals and all that kind of good stuff. And then we did moon salutation, moon focused yoga flow. And we also did a lot of yin postures. So if you're not familiar, yin yoga is a style of yoga where, all the poses are either seated or lying down. So you're, down on the mat on the floor the whole time, and you're holding poses anywhere from 1 to 10 minutes. So you're working connective tissue, you're working fascia, and you're in a deep meditative space. So I'm, in a forward fold kind of position. And, not only was she working with Reiki in the whole room with the whole group, but during the yin yoga portion, she came around and actually gave hands on healing to each of us. Um, and I was always a very adjustment heavy yin yoga teacher. So I used to give a lot of like really yummy hands on adjustments and just loving touch and, a little bit of massage to a lot of my students when I was teaching. That was kind of what I was known for. People came to my class for that a lot of the time, other things as well, but that was a big draw to my classes. And I'll never forget one of my friends took a class from me and she came up to me after class and she was just like, "Your hands are like little healers. There's like something about your hands." So I had gotten a lot of feedback, throughout my journey of just teaching yoga about my hands and the way that, my touch felt and the healing power of touch and all that kind of stuff. But, I was just kind of like going through the motions and still teaching yoga. Um, and so that night when I was at that circle and I'm, in a forward fold and she came and she put her hands on me and, gave me a hands-on Reiki treatment. Holy shit. I was like blasted off to a whole nother planet. I immediately just felt so much energy swirling and circulating through my body. For me, I've mentioned this on previous live streams during this 21 days, but for me, Reiki energy is a very identifiable frequency. Like, I can immediately be like, "Yes, that is Reiki. I know it. I can tell." Um, there are many, many different types of sound healing, frequency medicine, energy healing, but for me, Reiki is very specific and identifiable. And, that was obviously the first time I had received it, so I was like, "Okay, this is what it feels like." So my body was, like, really anchoring in somatically what the Reiki energy felt like, and I started to have all of these really intense, almost like psychedelic type visions. So I just wanna say that not every single person has visions or, like, a psychedelic experience with Reiki. The Reiki works no matter what type of experience you have, whether you just fall asleep or you don't feel it at all, or maybe you just feel kind of relaxed or in a meditation, or maybe you blast off and have all these visuals. Whatever's going on, the Reiki is working. But for me specifically, it was a very visual, psychedelic, intense experience that first time. And all of the visuals for me had to do with birth, death, rebirth, cycles of life, and female lineage. There was a lot about my female ancestral line, and I kept having visions of just the cycles of birth and death that led to my presence here on earth. And I felt the deepest connection that I've ever felt with my ancestry, my lineage, both my earth family and spiritual lineages and soul lineages. Um, and I started to cry and I just started to feel all of their pain and all of their grief and all of the things that they weren't able to heal. Um, and I came out of that circle knowing, like, locked in the core of my being that my purpose in this incarnation was to heal my female ancestral line. That was like a download. And I knew that Reiki had something to do with that. And so I walked out of there just so sure of my purpose for the first time really in my life. And it was a beautiful blessing and a beautiful experience to get that hit so strongly. Like, holy shit, I am so connected to all these women. I am so connected to my lineage. I carry within me elements of them energetically, somatically, and it's my purpose here to heal not only myself, but them and to liberate the whole lineage, going back and going forward. And so I walked out of there and I like went to see my boyfriend and I was just like, my purpose here is to heal my female ancestral line and it's so amazing. And like I was just like so lit up. And I could really feel the energy working me for a while, even after that experience. So my first experience with Reiki was incredibly profound. Um, And I think that's all I'm going to share for today. I'll share next about my first like one-on-one Reiki session, my first private Reiki session, and just what an incredible experience that was. I'll never forget it. You never forget your first, but I had profound insights and downloads that day as well. Um, and ultimately, it led me down the path of, pursuing becoming a Reiki practitioner myself, receiving my attunements, and then, going on to the master level and then pursuing the Karuna Reiki master attunements. Um, but Reiki has this incredible way of connecting us with our authentic truth and connecting us with the path of our purpose. And I'm not necessarily saying that for everyone that is going to be Reiki related. So it's not like just because we connect with Reiki, we're like, I'm going to be a Reiki practitioner. Maybe for you that takes you in a completely different direction. But I do think that Reiki has this incredible capacity to connect us to our authentic truth and to give us the courage to live in alignment with that truth and to, heal and help us release the things that are blocking us from that. So, yeah, I just wanted to share part one of my Reiki story. I'm not sure if I'll share like part two tomorrow and part three the next day or whatever. I might scatter it throughout the rest of the 21 days. But today, the only authentic transmission was to share about that first experience of Reiki and how Reiki helped me really lock in that I'm here to heal my female ancestral line and to help other women have the courage to step into their truth and their authentic purpose in this way. So I'm actually going to be creating a really beautiful group container for women that will be launching towards the end of March and will begin at the end of April. And I'm really excited because, even though that offering is not specifically Reiki related, like a lot of my other offerings are, it's still allowing me to align with the path of my purpose and to offer the medicine that I am here to offer to heal not only myself and my female ancestry, but also to help other women step into this work as well. So, if you want more information on that, in the description of this video, you can find my Instagram handle at Elsa Karinki, and you can follow me for more on my work and my offerings there. You can also visit my website, elsakarinki.com. That'll have, all the info for everything that I'm offering currently and in the future. So I will see you tomorrow for day 9 of 21 days of Reiki. And I'm sending you lots of love into your evening. Mwah.